Talk. My name is Chris Rogers, and my guest today is Yelena Yermolenko, and she's my personal trainer. And today we're gonna drop some really good, valuable info on you. How you doing, Yelena?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am good. So, where do we start here? Because you and I had an experience which was, to me, was life changing, and I will never forget it. And I curse you sometimes because I can't eat the stuff that I would, eat.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, I have knowledge now, so I can't go back to what I used to do. So, so tell us a little bit about how you got into this and where you are right now.
It takes me back probably 2011 when I was moving from Alberta and moving my family to BC. And at the time I started thinking about changing a career. I was finishing writing the book on real estate, and I really started to think that I had enough stress in my life and I needed to shift into something, and I didn't know what it's going to be. And then somebody suggested, why don't I go and do some dance fitness, because I was competing in ballroom dancing at the time, right? And I was into like normal healthy food stuff. And that person suggested, why don't you go teach some Zumba? So this is when I started sending my resumes to different gyms, and people from Steve Nash gym got a hold of me, and they said they need people with my ballroom dance background to teach dance fitness based on ballroom dancing. So that's how I got my foot into the door. But then a year later, being already at that time personal trainer for about a year, I started seeing myself aging, and I just didn't like it. So I decided to stop aging, and that's when I competed for the first time. And ever since, I developed a program that you went on.
Very well, very well. So within that time, like you went from ballroom dancing to how do you again? Was it a big decision, or was it something you just like? Oh, it's quite natural because it's still health.
It was quite sad. It was sad to leave ballroom dancing, and the reason why we did stop ballroom dancing is because when we were settling into the new province, being single mom with the kid, with me, right? We didn't have enough finances to support ballroom dancing habit. So we kind of stopped ballroom dancing, and my son went to boxing, which is great. He is now 3 times boxing champion, BC boxing champion.
Nice.
From that point, right? And I just started to do salsa, bachata, merengue stuff.
So you went down the whole line. You didn't just choose
we completely
one.
changed everything, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but going into fitness was something that actually changed my life as well. Yeah.
Cool. So let's talk a little bit, because the experience that I had with you, what was it, 3 months?
12 weeks,
I have to admit, I have to admit this, it was the toughest thing I've ever done. I probably would have quit. I'm not a quitter, but I probably would have quit because it was hard. It was mentally and physically. Do you remember the first day what I told you happened to me after the first day we worked out? How I collapsed.
Yeah, and I remember when you were waking up, I remember your videos.
So what we actually did was we did 12 weeks, and every week we did a video, about a 20-minute video, just to capture the realness of the situation. And I remember was it Tuesdays and Thursdays we did it. It was twice a week, and then I did two other days on my own, if I recall. And by the way, I cheated a little bit. A couple of times I didn't go to the gym. I didn't catch full 4 days. No, because I was hurting. But as we went, as it went a little bit deeper, I actually kept up. And I'll talk about that later. But I ended up messing up with the meal plan that you gave me.
Did you ever?
We have videos of that. Yes, we have videos of that. So I messed up a couple of times, but the end result, not to jump too far ahead, but what was what did you think after it ended? You felt like you accomplished the goal that you wanted to accomplish? Meaning in getting me from where I was. I came to you at 215 pounds. No, 210 pounds. And you got me down to 190 in 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay? I know people who've been working out for a year, and they came nowhere near losing the weight, gaining it. And my I guess when I came to you, I was like, I don't want to become like a muscular, because I have natural sort of muscles. And I want, no, you're laughing, because I remember you were making fun of me actually, because I told you I was genetically gifted. And you was laughing. No, because come on, as black people, we're like, we don't have to work out, and we just have natural muscle, which is true, but as you get older.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you accomplished something, having me as a trainer?
Every client that comes to me, it's a new puzzle, it's a new experience that I have, because everybody is different when they come to me, right? And your genetically gifted idea actually made me very curious. Okay, is it really true, right? So let's see what's going to happen. But the fact that you haven't been to the gym is like you've been, but not to the point that you think that you have to, right? So basically what happened is, usually when people find me, they already gone through the pain of trying it on their own. First of all, realizing that they have to go to the gym or need to do something about that. Then they go through the pain of trying it on their own, going through the pain of injuries, trying some YouTube stuff, trying some social media stuff, work out this, work out that, having zero results. And then they finally realize, okay, they need professional help with that. And this is where I come in, right? So you skipped all of that. So I found you in a pool of people who didn't think that they need to do it, okay, right? And I brought you into the pool of people who already gone through that pain of knowing that they need to do it.
Was I arrogant? Did I come across as arrogant? Because I'm like, hey, because when I
It wasn't arrogance, it was delusion of knowledge.
You know what?
And I think the first session with us doing the weigh-ins really brought you to earth.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
I didn't like those pictures. Remember those pictures? The pictures, the before pictures. I would be on the job sometimes. My job is very physical, and people will come up to me. I'm on the ladder, and they'll squeeze my calves and be like, "Hey, Chris, do you work out how many times a week? You hit the gym?" And I'm like, "No times." And they're like, "Really?" So I think I kind of got gassed a little. I'm like, "Yeah, I don't need to work out, But the first day I worked out, I remember waking up and I forgot I worked out. And of course I stood up and my legs were like, no, you don't do that. And I literally crumpled. I think I told you that. I stood up. I got up that morning after the first workout and I stood up, and this is the moment I stood up, my both knees buckled.
Do you remember the first workout? Do you remember what we did?
No.
First workout, you're probably thinking about our third workout right now, because first workout is chest and shoulders, and you did some push-ups, very fine, tiny little dumbbells,
yes,
right? But usually nobody remembers that day.
So you went easy on me. So in the first
everybody go easy.
So that was the third.
But then third workout is just body weight. We just did body weight squats.
Oh, okay.
And after that you couldn't walk.
I crumpled, so okay, I gotta check him on that.
And this is what happens normally. It's
painful.
not just you.
It was painful.
It's not just you.
You remember I didn't want to come in because I think the day after, I skipped a day, was skipping Wednesday and coming in Thursday. And I really wanted to be like, I don't know if I can do it, but I didn't want to come across like a punk. I'll be honest. I'm not going to be a punk. I'm going to come in. And I came in and it was tough, and we went through all of that. And like I said, it's life-changing. It was life-changing for me. I
have a question for you.
Yes.
What life-changing means to you?
Life-changing in that what you taught me about nutrition, how it affects the body, and by putting in certain foods in your body, what happens as it's compounded like over the years. So every time I go to eat something that I know is really bad, I remember, I hear your voice, right? And I'm like, you remember I told you the story about ice cream? Haagen-Dazs, it's my favorite. I'm not going to say it, right? Haagen-Dazs, whatever. And I would have it once a week, at least 2 pints a week. And I remember when we had a chat and you told me no alcohol, cut out the sugars, no ice cream. And I used to go stand in front of the freezer at the supermarket, and I would just say hello. I would just say hello to my favorite. It was torturous, and then after a while I stopped doing it. But it was my favorite thing, and I had to remember, don't put the stuff in your body you know it's not good. And just the thought of you, I mean, we had some good memories. I remember a couple of things you did to me in the gym, and I'm like, know, I remember not believing in myself. I don't know if you remember that part where you told me I was going to leg press 700 fucking pounds. I didn't believe it. And you were like, I ended up doing 740 if I recall, because I went over it. You were like, no, you can do it. And I'm like, no, I can't. And you're like, you will. And I'm like, okay. And my hips, I remember the first push. And then I'm like, wait, it's not too bad. It was fine. It was good. Yeah. So I'll let you go a little bit to talk about the correlation between sex and I don't know, jumping right into it. But I'll let you lead on that because I know next to zero about it when it comes to.
So you mentioned that I get rid of alcohol in the meal plan and some dairy.
Yes.
Right? That's the first thing that usually goes. So this is my intake on. We're gonna leave alcohol for a little bit, okay? But I'm gonna first talk about inflammatory foods.
Yes.
And the very first one is milk, and anything to do with milk and dairy and yogurts and cheese and stuff. We shouldn't be eating another species milk. Period. End of story. If you would design to eat milk, or drink milk, the females would still be lactating for the rest of their life, and the male would still suck on their teats. Right? You never see a lion coming to a lioness and suck on her teats while she's breastfeeding her pups, right? Cubs, and like it's not happening in the nature.
Yes.
And if we are drinking another species milk, why wouldn't we drink our own, right? So it's just like very weird, right? Concept.
We don't think about that, though, right?
Exactly. But why is it that so inflammatory for us? So we have milk sugars in them. We have lactose and we have casein and probably a whole bunch of other things in there in terms of the sugars of milk. Lactose, they learn how to get rid of it for those who are lactose intolerant, right? But casein is a very interesting substance. We have enzyme in our body when we're still a child, right? When we're developing, that breaks casein into amino acids and delivers it into the places where the cartilage is.
So at that point, it's good for you.
It's still good. That's why we're weaning our babies with milk, right?
Yes.
Like with our own or like animals. They do their own kids, right? So it gets delivered in the places where it's supposed to be build cartilage, and it helps to build cartilage, right? But then at a certain age, that enzyme disappears in our body because we are very nicely genetically constructed individual species, right?
Yes.
And there is nothing that we do not need in our body, and everything's supposed to work perfect, right? So if we do not need something, body will get rid of it on its own. So now this enzyme is disappearing, but we continue drinking milk, but delivery system stays the same, and that casein is going to go into the either places where you're supposed to have it used for your body to build cartilage, or your body does, it develops a dump site, and it's eventually going to become a tumor somewhere around your stomach. Right? So if you stop, and on top of that, all of the milk is not just nice and normal, clear and stuff, milk. You have to have antibiotics in there in order to get rid of bacteria. You have to have preservatives in it in order to get rid of bacteria. The big, huge production of milk industry is going to have cows that are sick, that are producing not nice milk, and the pus goes in there. So you are not just drinking milk, you're drinking antibiotics, you're drinking dead bacteria, right? You're drinking a whole bunch of preservatives because it has to survive a shelf life.
Yes.
Right? So that's what goes into the body, and that's what creates shitload of inflammation in you, on top of what milk actually does.
So the milk that we purchase in stores, what you're saying is just, we shouldn't be consuming it at all.
Exactly. So, and the same goes for cheese. Whenever I get rid of it, when people are still reaching into those foods during the meal plan, they actually having trouble losing weight because it develops mucus inside of your intestine, and that mucus is preventing you from absorbing your nutrients into your bloodstream through the intestinal walls.
Yes.
Yeah, but like alcohol, it's another thing, but I'll touch on alcohol later because this is the craziest thing. Like, I'm Russian,
Yes.
and I'm preaching no drinking.
Vodka? No. But so when it comes to specifically to milk, what would you say to your clients? Cut out milk completely?
Like, it's not on my meal plan completely. Yeah,
At
so
all?
100%, everything. Milk, cheese, yogurts, kefir, anything milk related, anything from another species like milk.
So the one I'm really interested in is how does lack of exercise affect one's sex life? Yes. I mean,
Okay. So let me start from like
yes.
far away from this. So at the age of 30,
Yes.
we would start losing 2% of our lean muscle mass.
Yes.
By 40 years old, if you do not exercise and don't work out, right, and do not eat enough protein, we're going to start losing 2% of lean muscle mass a year.
Yes.
So by 40 years old, we will lose 20%. By 50 years old, you will lose 40% of your lean muscle mass.
49.
It is not enough to support skeletal system anymore, and therefore everything, including your hormones, will start to go down. Right, so once the process called sarcopenia, muscle wasting due to aging, non-negotiable, happens to absolutely everybody, black, white, Asian, whatever else you are. Right, so it's not, you do not have a free ticket to aging or non-aging if you are different.
But there ought to be a way to slow it down.
100%.
Okay.
So you need to work out and you need to eat enough protein in order to support production of muscle cells.
Yes.
So once you work out, you're producing testosterone. If you don't work out, you don't produce testosterone. As you age, everything goes down. Everything goes down.
Everything.
And if you do not work out,
yes.
everything goes down and doesn't come back. Right? But in our heads, we think that, we still fun sexually, right? And the reason why I can talk about it, because I've been single for quite some time, so I've been around, right? So I know from the personal experience how bad it started to get for guys.
Okay. So for me, I'm 40, I didn't mention earlier, I'm 49, and I've been around for a while. And when we were going through the training, I remember telling you I couldn't sleep. Mm-hmm. And do you remember why I couldn't sleep? My testosterone level, I think, just shot up because I felt energy, energy. Yeah. Right? And I remember not being, and we were trying to find some sort of resolution to it. We were thinking like the blue lights of the computer, like watching my phone and stuff like that. And we cut that out. I think I took a Epsom salt bath to relax my muscles and stuff like that. But I felt so much energy because all of a sudden, I think the first time in my life I was taking a little bit more protein, right? And I remember we had a conversation and you mentioned to me that it most likely is a rise in my testosterone. And I think in other ways I can agree to that. And once I stopped working out, because of course, I had to go back to work and get back to real life, the energy level wasn't there like that anymore. But when I was for that 3 months, I felt energy like I was like literally 20 years old. So I just felt energy, raw energy, right? For me, I know as a man, as every man should be concerned about, as you get older, you lose muscle mass, your testosterone level drops. Working out, in addition to working out and taking protein, what other advice would you give to men to maintain that sexual health and vitality?
So let me talk about hormones a little bit, right?
Yes.
So as the muscle started to go down, right, people will be correcting it by eating less and running more, right? Like if you are in a kind of fitness, but running can also work in an opposite direction, because if you're going over the 60, let's say 75% of your maximum heart rate, you started to tap into the energy that's produced by breaking down the muscle tissue rather than the fat tissue, right? So people who are going into very high intensity, all of a sudden spin classes and orange theory, right? Like anything cardio related, like when you exert a lot of energy during the cardio, you are actually at the danger of burning more muscle than actually getting skinnier in terms of muscle tissue, right? Sorry, fat tissue. And that's why workout, weightlifting, you need to stimulate the muscle with lifting something heavier than your own body weight in order to produce muscle cells,
yes.
Right? And you need to do your cardio to reduce the fat cells in your body. The thing about fat cells, like when you work out, you multiply muscle cells.
Yes.
And then they stay in you. If you stop working out, they're still there, they may not be active. If you started to go back to workouts, those muscles are going to be there. So it's for fat tissue. We all born identical, all female in the world will have same amount of fat cells, muscle cells, bone cells, skin cells. So it goes for guys. right? So any single male, like everybody on earth, will have same amount of cells everywhere. This is freaky. We are identical. We are like perfect and identical. The difference between you and another guy is going to be your DNA, and between you and I will be chromosome.
Okay.
Right, so that's what makes you male and me female. It makes you being a black guy versus the white guy, right? So that's DNA, right? But rather than that, if you look at all of the babies that are born, they're absolutely identical and they look all healthy and nice.
Okay.
And then the lifestyle kicks in.
Yes.
The family eats certain foods in one family, different foods in another family. Then the pollution kicks in, then the pills kick in, people get sick and whatnot, right, based on the lifestyle that they have. Some kids playing soccer, some kids helping father on a farm.
Yes.
That will develop them into different body type.
Yes, so they go in the opposite direction based on the environment.
Exactly. And some people just living sedentary lifestyle.
Yes.
Right, so now you're hitting 30 years old, and now it's even earlier than that. Once your body fat started to go higher than it should be, you start breeding the fat cells. Once you decided to slim down, those fat cells are still there because it's either cutting them out. Without cutting them out, you cannot get rid of them, but you can deplete them. So now it's forever maintenance of those fat cells. Okay? Now, once the fat started to accumulate in your body, this is what's happening. Your testosterone levels go down, your estrogen content goes up.
And that's both men and women?
Both men and women. So the man whose fat level started to go up means that his estrogen levels are high, testosterone levels are low. So if the man is started to go above 15% of the body fat, it means that his testosterone level is low, estrogen is high, meaning his libido is low. It means that his stuff stopped working properly.
Okay.
Right? It means that he's no longer started to be interested in a partner.
And what about the boobs, like male boobs? Does that
you can develop, depending on how high it started to go, right? Because there is few things in your body that will start to grow and start develop that, right? The breast tissue, gynecomastia, right? So, and once that started to go, then people stop being interested in anything. They just like carrying themselves around and doing their own thing, thinking that they may be genetically gifted or they're still in denial at that point.
But it is reversible. That's
100%.
my thing. It's reversible. It's going to be a hard, uphill climb. It depends on the severity of how
100%. And now, the same goes for females, right? So if our body fat goes above 20%, same thing happening with us. So all of my clients that come to see me, they all lost interest in a lot of things. They all difficulties to move, difficulties to get up and go, depression, anxieties, all of that started to set in. The health issues, things just don't feel right anymore.
All directly correlated to your diet.
To the diet.
How you move your body on a daily basis.
Amount of body fat accumulates.
And the accumulation of body fat.
Yeah. And now we have this couple, right, who stop being interested in each other.
Yes.
It's not that they're not interested in each other, they just stop being interested in sex. Period. And then she's thinking 100%. Like who in the family will tell your husband, like, honey, your dick is not working anymore, right? Like for some reason it started to get softer. Like I remember you being completely different, right?
Yes.
And then he'll say, like, who are you fucking, right? Like nobody.
So those are hard conversations, though. Exactly.
Exactly, right? So how would you address that in the family, right? And that's where the problem started to happen. Oh, he's not interested in me.
Have you ever had a couple that came to you and they were both in that situation and you had that?
I have this kind of, it's very difficult to train couples. I do have trained couples, separately, preferably. But yes, I have that conversation with everybody. Nobody brings it up. I bring it up.
You have to initiate that because, of course, nobody wants to say
especially a guy. What guy would want to say that?
Yeah. Oh, ego's not allowed.
Absolutely. Not so much ego. It's a delusion of knowledge, I call it.
Okay, all right. So, but it's a combination. I would like to say personally, it's a combination because I think men, we hesitate to talk about things.
100%. Because we think everything is fine.
Yeah.
Because your brain is going to tell you it's fine. This is how it's
supposed to be. No, but even if
on
a deeper level we know it's not.
Yeah.
Again, as a man, I'm just saying, we'd be like, I can't admit it. Like a man can't admit he's being abused by his woman. He wouldn't admit it. It's the other way around. It's easy because that's what we expect from society. But the other things I wanted to touch on is what advice would you give for the average person who's sitting at home right now that's in the couch and they really want to like change certain things about themselves and become healthy? But we as human beings, we procrastinate a lot, and I'm guilty of that too. What would you say to that person who's sitting at home?
Where do they start? Where would to start, right?
Yeah, because most people don't know, right? They're like, well, trainer may be too expensive, or if I start, I have to be committed. And just like when I went through the program, a couple of times I wanted to quit. And to be honest, if we weren't filming it and I didn't give you my word, I probably would be, because no, I had,
you would find excuses to stop it.
Yes,
usually it's work.
Yeah.
Work, I'm so busy with work, so I cannot commit to this time.
It's a semi-legitimate excuse. In some cases, it could be legitimate. The reason why I didn't continue is because my work. I think I told you that. I asked your age. How old are you?
I'm 48.
48. Okay. Wow. So, when you get into this, did you at what age were you when you started seriously taking workout seriously?
So I became a dance fitness instructor in 2012.
Okay.
Then for about a year, I worked as a personal trainer, thinking I'm doing things right. But then I saw myself in a group picture. At the time, I was already working as a trainer and I was doing dance fitness.
Yes.
And it was very, very high intensity dance fitness. And I saw myself old. And I like, oh my gosh, I don't want to age.
So even back then, you're like, wait a minute, I'm not looking my age here. I gotta do something about
On my website and on my social media, there are pictures somewhere of that. And I decided that I'm not gonna age. So I decided to put that vibration into my head. And the picture of my friend came up on one of the social media, and she did a bodybuilding competition. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she changed so much, right? So like, what did you do? She goes like, oh, I did bikini show. I'm like, what's bikini show? I was so oblivious, right?
Yeah.
And then like, and she goes, yeah, bodybuilding. I go, bodybuilding? Okay, I want to do the same. So I came to my coach. I hired a coach and I hired a meal planner. And same as you came to me and you said you don't want to get too bulky. I told my coach, Silvan, like,
I
Silvan,
want to look unnatural. Look, to me,
I don't want to get bulky. And he goes like, Yelena, you won't. So anyway, in 8 weeks, I lost body fat. And at the time, I think I wasn't really big. I just looked older, right?
Yes.
And I was maybe 112 pounds, maybe 118 pounds. But on stage I was 103 pounds on stage at the time, right? So in 8 weeks, I lost all of that weight and I look completely different. I never looked back. So I started to put everybody onto my program. And that's 2014. That was right after my 40th birthday. That was my biggest present to myself.
Wow.
And up until now, I'm still doing the same. And each time my body changes, it gets better and better. And it's more now like, I don't even know, like I go work out and my body's bigger and it's like, okay.
But it's something that's always been in my mind. How much protein? Because I was taking protein and there are times when I remember I would make a shake and stuff. One time as an aside, I came into your office one day before a workout. And I'm like, what flavor of protein do you like? And you gave me a look, I would never forget it. You gave me a look like, I think if you had a sword, I would have been decapitated. You gave me that look like, you use flavored protein. And I'm like, oh shit, I messed up, right? Because I remember you told me get me on a flavored one, and I kind of didn't. I got the one with flavor because I still wanted that sugar. I wanted that sweet kind of. Anyway, I'm snitching on myself now. But I remember coming into your office and you gave me that look. And I think for the rest of the workout you were disappointed because I was kind of looking at you and be like, oh my God, the disappointment like rising. But how much protein do you actually need to intake in order to see the effect?
So very good question. If you were to look at government website, they will tell you that you need to have about 0.3 grams per pound of body weight. And all of the information stops there. There is nothing more. So this number is good to maintain for somebody who is under 30 years old. Once you start aging and the sarcopenia, muscle wasting kicks in, you need to up the protein. Right? So anybody who is over 30 years old, for females, I would advise 1.2 grams per pound of body weight, and for guys, about 1.5. Let's say you went on a 10 egg whites, right? So that's about 50 grams of protein in there, okay, per meal intake. And how tall are you? How heavy are you? Let's say you are 90, 180, right? So it's that plus half, right? So 180 pounds plus half of it will be 50, 90. It's about like close to 300 grams of protein.
So that's above what?
This is what you need to 100% above. It's like almost double, right? And then older you get, more protein you need to have because sarcopenia speeds up, doesn't really slow down. What slows it down is you eating protein and working out. Right, so that was a big shock for a lot of people. When they would come to me, they usually do not eat breakfast, they usually do not feel hungry in the morning, they will run around for like a good half a day, and then sometimes during the day they will have their lunch, and then they come home, they eat huge dinner, and then they gain weight. They start correcting it by eating with less. And then when they go
so the less you eat, so someone like you just described, they're unhealthy already. Okay, diet is bad. And quite naturally, as humans, we think, oh, I'm eating too much. So if they eat less, what happens? What happens to the weight?
So once you started to get into that point that you do not wake up hungry in the morning, it means that two hormones inside of your stomach flipped. So we have hormone, I call it gremlin, that tells your body, communicates through the vagus nerve and tells your body that you are hungry. And there's a leptin that tells your body that you're satisfied. Once your metabolic system started to slow down, and everybody knows that after 30, metabolic system slow down, sure it does, right? Those two hormones shift. Now gremlin is no longer being produced, and leptin is being produced. You eat a piece of grass, and you're not feeling hungry anymore. You drink a glass of water, you're not feeling hungry anymore, because it fills your stomach. Your leptin tells your brain that, okay, I'm full, right? So the gremlin stops. And that's why you do not feel hungry in the morning. And in order to reverse that, that's the first thing that we need to do, to reverse the hormone production. We need to eat first thing in the morning, the minute you wake up, good breakfast with good amount of protein. It's now in every study that you can read that 30 grams of protein in the morning will fire up your metabolic system.
So it's not, what about intermittent fasting? Because you hear a lot about that.
I know, this is trends, right? We're talking about trends now. So there is a good thing about it and there is a bad thing about it.
What's a good thing first?
So, good thing first. People eat shitty food. People have very shitty lifestyle.
Yeah.
People don't work out, don't think that they need to work out, right? And they're eating very bad food, fast food and stuff. So they are quite inflamed from that. So if you do not eat for 16 hours, it's not that you're getting healthier. For 16 hours, you're not supplying yourself with that crappy food. And your body have a little chance to clean up. That's a good start.
Okay.
But once you are on a regulated meal plan and you have eating 5 times a day, you stop eating inflammatory foods, and your body is constantly producing muscle cells non-stop, right? Then try not to eat for that amount of time. What it's going to do is, and this is a very interesting concept, right? So your body produces muscle cells, any cells, blood cells, any tissue cells, every split second. It's never-ending process.
It's a discontinuous process.
100%. So the way that you breathe and your circulation, your blood flows, it never stops, right? There is not a single glitch in your body that will all of a sudden for 5 minutes you're not breathing, you're not doing anything, and it's just like everything is fine and oops, you're working again. No, it's non-stop.
Very interesting.
Right? So for all of this time, if you take time and do not put food into your body for 16 hours,
yes.
And for this 16 hours body trying to produce muscle cells, all of a sudden you created a little layering of faulty cells that did not receive a food element to build up. Do it on a continuous basis. Now you created few layers of those cells that are faulty, and eventually it's gonna kick somewhere.
I have a really, really interesting question. What would you say to them about the importance of having working out and your diet? How important it is? Because I came in and you taught me that. I would just think, oh, you want to gain muscles, you just work out, you just lift stuff. Or you want to lose weight, you just watch what you eat. But they work hand in hand. And if done effectively, you get maximum result like I felt I did working out. What would you say?
We need to the average person, first of all, I'll say eat more chicken.
Eat more chicken. Okay.
Don't skip meals, eat your breakfast. It's the most important part of the meal.
Yes.
That's what fires up your metabolic system. At least that, and walk. Do some walking.
Walking.
Yeah, walking to
as opposed to jogging, as opposed to riding your bike?
Yes, walking will help you to be in a proper heart rate while you are doing the walking, and that's important for your brain, right? So that goes into the proper cardio for specific results, right? So, but that would be my advice: walk more, eat more clean protein, and start doing some physical activity, at least push-ups at home.
One word for you, and there's another word that's going to come right after that: salt.
Oh, interesting, right?
Salt.
So if I were to ask you, what do you know about electrolytes and what they are, what would you tell me?
I'm not qualified to give an opinion on that because I just think I love the taste of salt, and I think I put too much salt in whenever I cook.
Okay. But what do you know about electrolytes?
I know electrolytes is what you replace in your body if you when you dehydrate it. Not very wrong.
Okay.
And it's an important. It's important for you. The first time I heard electrolytes was in a Super Bowl commercial, I think, and drinking the Gatorade to replace it. That's all. Fair enough. I am not qualified.
Like this is very common knowledge that you have. Most of the people that I ask will have exactly the same thing. So electrolytes are calcium, potassium, magnesium, sodium. Electro means they're moving electricity inside of your body for specific reasons and functions in the body. Right, so for example, if I were to very quickly kind of describe what the smallest muscle particle would be, it's called filament, right? So it's two proteins, actin proteins, and the myosin is in between, right? Myosin contracts and the myosin heads bring two proteins together. That's making contraction, and then release when it's relaxed, and it releases. So we call it sliding filament theory. Right, so magnesium will play a very major role in that contraction and not giving you any cramps. Calcium, it's interesting, right? So we have nerves going all around the body, right? And they do not go penetrate the muscle filament, or cell, right? So they don't. They go around through the fascia. Fascia is something that surrounds every single muscle fiber, myofibril, the muscle belly, right, muscle bundle, we all wrapped in that fascia. So the nerves will go through that, right? And enzymes will carry, and electricity goes through the body through those nerves, right? And then there is a little enzyme will carry calcium, and it comes to that muscle cell. I'll be sure to show it better so you can see it. Muscle cell, and that calcium carries electricity to zap the muscle contract. So that's the calcium, right? So it basically helps you to contract.
Yes.
But sodium is very interesting one, right? So people often, when they go in my program, and if I do now, I talk about it all the time. They very often will stop eating sodium, and all of a sudden they become very tired, right? And so sodium important, and we have to have about 2,500 milligrams of sodium a day, which is about a tablespoon.
Yes.
Right? In order to become salty, conductive to the electricity of the brain. If you are lacking sodium, you will be very weak, you will be very tired, you will develop chronic fatigue, right? So, but if you're overeating, it's going to be high blood pressure. So there is a point when there is too much, but there is definitely a point where there is not enough. And now speaking of proper salt, what salt to eat, right? And I have a very cool experience with pink salt, Himalayan salt.
I try to use that because it's the white.
And I give you shit for that probably, right?
Yeah.
Right. So because I don't talk about any of this because I think that's what it should be. I talk about all of this because I've gone through this myself. This is my own personal experience and experience I had with my clients.
Yes.
So the Himalayan salt is not salty enough for us, and very often it's lacking iodine. So if you're diluting your sodium content, you're going to be chronic fatigue, development of chronic fatigue. But if there is no iodine, then you're going to have trouble with your thyroid. And now it's your blood regulation, blood pressure regulation as well. So, and you're going to have a lot of problems just by not being salty enough. So.
I want to ask you this. What I've learned from you, and again, I'm still a student here. I don't even try to teach this stuff. Whatever advice I get friends and family, it's just keep moving, drink lots of water. If you want, again, I'm not qualified, but what I learned from you was if you're going to take on a routine of working out and trying to get healthier, the nutrition part of it is so important. I was shocked actually when I started working out with you because you're talking now on a macro level. Like it gets confusing for the average person who just don't want. That's your knowledge and it's amazing information, but I know that you, when you're teaching and you're coaching, you put it in a very simple way. A couple of times I had to ask you over and over a couple of questions because you would explain it in your way, and then I'm like, layman terms, like explain it for someone who's simple, right? Who would understand. Do you think it's a good thing for most trainers to sort of like couple their physical part of their coaching to nutritional part? Because I think, to me, at least in my estimation, that's a more effective way of getting better results. You know what I mean? Because some people, they just give you the physical.
Yeah.
I have friends who have, coaches and personal trainers, and it's just the physical. You get in lift and do it, but there's nothing about nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the very same people. No results.
Yeah.
Minimal results.
So if you just work out, you won't have results. If you just switch your diet, you won't have results. Not lasting results. It's not sustainable results. And this is why. When you work out, you actually break down your muscle tissue. It's inflammatory, very inflammatory. Adding it on top of the people do not sleep enough, people work too much, a lot of stress. It's a lot of inflammation into your body. And if you do not change your protein intake and clean up your diet, you are not going to be supplying your body with materials to rebuild that muscle cell. So this is what happens, right? So you work out, you lifted, you broke some muscle cells, you initiated the stimulation of the muscle cell production, and now you need to supply food for those muscles to actually develop, all right? And if it's not, if you're eating, especially when you work out on an empty stomach, oh my gosh, a few people did that to me too. And therefore, you're going to be working actually on you're going to be utilizing your own muscle for energy that you're trying to build. So you're developing inflammation on top of inflammation, right?
Yes.
And then if you do not eat enough or do not eat enough proper protein intake, it's not there, then you are simply going to utilize your own muscle for energy, develop a lot of inflammation, and not provide anything to repair the muscle. Then you're just going to get sicker from the same workouts. Right, but then when people decided to lose weight and go on this clean diet, cut diet, different diet of this and that, and they lose some weight, but if the muscle, we lose muscle when we age,
Yes.
right? And now you have this sarcopenia is going on in you. You're losing the muscle. Now you're cutting the food that muscle was relying on to be produced.
Yes.
You cut that food even further. Right, and then you lost muscle, you lost some body fat, and now it's unsustainable. You go back into your previous habit of eating, and the muscle that was there is now even less. So now you're accumulating and regaining the weight back.
Okay.
Because your muscle become even more inactive because you starved it with the diet.
Yes.
Right, and because you lost it even more because of the sarcopenia.
So my next word, which I'm going to throw you away, sugars.
Actually, it's it's more addictive than cocaine.
I've heard that. Is that really true? Because I'm like, there's a lot of cokeheads out there.
If you were to go through a competition, and I have one of the clients going through this right now, and we really had to do a little intervention in there.
Yeah.
All right, it's a very difficult habit to lose because it affects us in a very different ways. People addicted to sugar. The body understands sugar quite well. The body understands that to eat sugar you get more energy, which is true. But you also become very addicted to it. And a lot of people who do have cravings for sugar, it's usually pointing on the fact that they're actually lacking enzymes that breaking down the carb intake that they eat that provides them with the sustainable energy. Right, so now we have this industry that's supplying us with artificial sweeteners, like sucralose.
Are those dangerous? Because I've heard
I have a good segment on my YouTube on neurological side effects of artificial sweeteners, right? And I explain that very well in there. So in a nutshell, And I'll tell you what pisses me off the most in the whole industry of that. So here we are, people who want to work out, who want to get better, who wants to lose weight, who want to get cleaner, right? And we are getting that protein sweetened with sucralose or aspartame, right? So that is now sucralose mostly. And those who are a little bit healthier side decided to go on stevia, right? And thinking that we're doing some good stuff to ourselves, and all of a sudden it's actually kind of not working, and don't understand why, and I'm getting a little bit more bloated, right? So what sucralose does, it's an atomic bomb to your digestive system. It kills your digestive enzymes, and you're trying to put protein in it, and there is nothing for your body to digest it with. Right, so kind of defeats the purpose. And then stevia collects in our lower intestine, and I have a client who sent me a video. She got bloated like 5 months pregnant right before the competition because of that. She decided to add a little bit more sweetener into her coffee.
And it just went out of control.
I have the video she sent me, and she goes like, I'm not sure. I think I have something to do with my uterus. I'm going to go check with the doctor. I go, did you say like you feel like 5 months pregnant? She goes, yeah, like look at this, and she sends me this video, and she's literally bloated up. I go like, did you take stevia? She goes, yes, I put stevia into my coffee. I go, take it out, that's what bloats you. Take the smooth tea, poop it out. Like 2 days it was all gone.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
What it does, it collects in the lower intestine, and it develops inflammation, and that prevents you from absorbing water properly.
So, because you go to the supermarket, you see all these probiotics, right? That's what are those healthy enzymes for your gut. Are these things dangerous? Like
no, of course not. You have to have them, but if they put into your yogurt, right? So it's kind of like a good thing and bad thing, right? Yogurt is a dairy which we shouldn't be eating. It will develop inflammation, right? But they're full of probiotics. But how much of those probiotics really in there? And why would you consume it with something that's going to inflame you? So probiotics is best with just by itself, like in a pill form, if you can find a good brand.
Yes.
So is digestive enzymes, which are two different things. Let me just touch base on that, by the way.
Yes.
So what is the difference between probiotics and digestive enzymes, right? Since we were talking about it. So you eat your piece of chicken, right? It goes into your stomach. Your acid of your stomach will break it into smaller particles. Then the digestive enzyme that we're supposed to produce, right? Let's say we're producing it, going to lock together with the cofactor, which can be organic or inorganic. Organic will be your vitamins, let's say it's B12, helps you to break down protein.
Yes.
Inorganic will be calcium, potassium, magnesium, right? So let's say that's the digestive enzyme that's supposed to be just for B12, locks with B12, and then the piece of protein will come to the, it's called active site, like on that enzyme.
Yes.
The probiotic will lock together with B12, produce the electrical signal. It goes into that meat, into that piece of chicken, breaks it into amino acid form. Okay? And now those amino acids are floating in your stomach, right? Your stomach does gastric release. It goes into your intestine, and there the probiotics will take it inside into your bloodstream of your intestine.
Okay.
So those are two absolutely different things, right? And now, let's say you are not, you took your Diet Coke, which is aspartame.
Yes.
And you're probably chewing gum, which is also aspartame in there.
Yes.
Right, and you probably brushed your teeth with aspartame as well, because your toothpaste is probably sweet as well. Right, and then like you chase it with your Diet Coke, which is aspartame, right, that kills your digestive enzyme. Now this piece of chicken cannot be broken down because there is no digestive enzyme there. We killed it.
So years and years and years of that bad habit and bad things when it's compounded.
Yeah, so you're catching the drift now, right?
Yes, yes.
So and now this piece of, hold on a second, I haven't even done the damage yet. So now this piece of chicken is traveling down your intestine. You had your yogurt that inflamed it.
Yes.
And it's all now getting stuck in there. Your body trying to get rid of it by developing mucus around that site.
Is that what the body does to protect, like
100%. It has to do something about it. It has to get it out, right? Yes. So, and now this piece of intestine is all of a sudden non-operational, not working. It's full of like mucus and stuff. And this is your future colon cancer, right? And then like you're trying to eat all of this protein, you're trying to, and all they do, they develop neurological issues, non-digestive issues. You're not absorbing anything, and all of that sucralose is in our supplements.
But people, see, it breaks my heart, right? Because again, to get this kind of knowledge, other than coming to someone like you, people don't know this
They
stuff.
don't know.
We don't know. And people develop tumors, cancer, sickness, illness, guttish, and we don't.
But they go to the
know.
gym, right? They work out.
Yeah, they work out, but they're not healthy. You can look physically like a physical specimen that's top 1%. There was a question I wanted to ask you, if we can get off that for a little bit. Meal prep. I had a huge problem with meal prep, and I try it, but to be honest, I'm not as diligent as I used to be because of work again. Now that I'm not working, I can do it. What advice would you give to someone? Because I have friends who would ask me about it. I'm like, dude, just pick a Sunday, like, you work during the week or whatever. Sunday evening, I put aside a 2 or 3 hour window, and I'll just do my meal prep, get it ready. But people struggle with that. They don't understand. What advice would you give someone?
So, at first I'll ask you a question. How long are you planning to be functional?
As long as I can be functional.
So, meaning that the food you like depends on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Knowing that the decrease in physical abilities, like when you look at yourself 10 years ago, right, or let's say 20 years ago, you can kind of see the decrease in everything, right, like physical activity and stuff, right? So now put that into your future next 10 years. Where are you going to end up if you're going to keep things the same? Right? It means that you're not going to get any better. You're getting older, right? It's like we're getting older and weaker and stuff, right? So, but you can reverse it. But for that, you need to do certain things. Food prep is one of them, right? But if you look at the technicality of it, it's actually saves you a lot of time. Let's say you have all your meals prepped. You know that they are healthy. You know you're providing yourself with proper amount of nutrients.
Yes.
Right? You cooked for, usually it takes me about a couple of hours to cook it for the whole week.
Yes.
But now, if you, let's say, not doing it, first thing in the morning you wake up, what to eat for breakfast? Usually people don't, right? But let's say you do, okay, so let's do this, this, and that. But then you will need to go to the store for your dinner. You go to the store, you stay in line, you drive to the store, that's 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You stay trying to find the food that you want to eat this time, right? You have no idea what to eat. You're trying to stay healthy. You're thinking you're going to grab that yogurt and you're going to be very healthy. Right, so you're grabbing the yogurt, you're grabbing something that is Diet Coke or not, right? So then you're standing in line, paying for the cashier, you need to drive home. You probably spent about a couple of hours just to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then you come home, you need to prep it, then you need to clean it. Then you go to sleep, it's already late.
Yeah.
And then you repeat that again. Just preparation of the dinner takes you about 2 to 3 hours every day. We talked a lot about testosterone and estrogen and all of this stuff, right? So I got into all of this information for a very different reason, right? How do you slow down aging when your hormones actually like getting low? And what to do? Like what to do with all of this? Okay, so now we understand that a lack of libido and loss of interest in your partner is because you lost your testosterone. And let's say you're like 50 years old, 55-year-old, right? Those guys or girls. So what to do? Like you go to your doctor will never tell you like, let's check your hormones. What they will do, they'll prescribe you a blue pill, right? That's it.
Talking Cialis or Viagra.
Cialis, Viagra, both of them, right? So they will prescribe you something to get your thing up. Right? But that is not going to do.
It's not a thing, but yeah.
But it's not solving the core issue.
Okay, I gotta
Just say the word on camera, guys. Just say it.
Okay. Yeah, sorry.
Actually, bring it to another.
You're getting ready, Yelena. You're married.
The things you do not tell to your male clients while you're training them is,
absolutely.
let me help you get it up.
Yeah. No, it's a non-starter.
Okay. So, doctor will prescribe it to you regardless of what it is, right? But they're not going to go to the core issue of that.
Yes.
Right, so there are clinics that you can go and check your endocrine system. They will give you a blood test, full panel blood test. You'll go for the urine test. It's 24-hour collection. They'll send it to the lab, and they will all come up with the thing to tell you like whether it's high or low. right? And I sent a few clients to those clinics, right?
Yes.
And like black guys and white guys. So like my clients go and check it, and doesn't matter how like your color, it's the same. If testosterone is low, it's going to be low in you, or in white, or in somebody Asia, whatever,
Yes.
right? So it is. But so is for girls.
Okay.
And I wanted to get myself checked out, so I stopped all of my supplements for about a month, right, to check it and just to see where it's going to take me, right? And basically, first 2 weeks I kind of was okay, but week 3 I hit the wall, right? Like I decided not to work out, so I did not stimulate production of my own hormones.
Yes.
So that first 2 weeks I did work out, then I didn't work out and stopped my supplements, right? So I felt like I just hit the wall. My energy levels were like 0. I felt like I'm 50 years old, maybe 55, like I didn't want to do things. I didn't go to the gym, I didn't want to go to the gym, right? So when the results came in, blood results and urine test, he told me that I have non-existent level of testosterone. And I'm like,
Your testosterone levels just hit
the floor.
basement.
Because I didn't work out
Wow.
for 1 week.
Wait. I thought it was a month.
No,
1
for a
week?
month, for the first 2 weeks, I did go work out, but I
Yes.
just stopped my supplements.
Oh, okay, so you
And
stopped
then I
the supplements for a
decided
month.
to stop workout, right? So week 1, this is when I hit very low energies.
Yes.
And then after second week, so I tested. I went for testing, for blood test and urine test collection and stuff. So when I did that testing, it was me not working out for 2 weeks.
Well, it begs the question for me, supplements.
Mhm.
Well, what's the deal with supplements? So if you don't use supplements at all, I mean, it's the supplement industry, is it regulated or not? It's not regulated, right?
None of it is actually regulated. There's a lot of good things that we should be taking or we are not taking because governments regulates it, right? Like human growth hormone, like testosterone, right? So when my clients go to check the testosterone level, doctor usually most of the time put them on PRT, testosterone replacement therapy, for girls and guys.
Yes.
Right, even for us, for females, we do not need a lot. We have to have very, very tiny little bit, but we have to have it. And if it hits the floor, we hit the floor.
So people like, I know I've heard about elderly guys using testosterone boosters or taking testosterone. Is that healthy?
100%.
100%.
100% you
Because
have
as
to.
you get older, you produce less.
Absolutely. It
But-
stops production of it, right?
But
And
what's the danger? My question is, what's the danger? If you can you take too much? Is there such a thing as taking too much testosterone?
So now we are talking about testosterone for bodybuilding then.
No, just a regular average guy.
If you are, so that's when you become a bodybuilder because you can actually grow by taking more testosterone, right? So there is a study that was done when you are trying to grow muscle. There is a group of guys that are just testosterone, group of guys that just work out, and a group of guys testosterone and work out.
Yes.
So the group of guys that testosterone and work out grew the biggest amount of muscle.
Yes.
Then the second group was those who just do testosterone.
Yes.
And then the third group is those who work out. So those who just work out grew the smallest amount of muscle on them, right? So you can just take testosterone and it will help you to grow. Doctor will not prescribe you more than what you should be taking, but for bodybuilding, people do take, we call it cycle, we put people in a cycle.
On a cycle. Yes.
Right? Danger of it is, we have a regulation system in our body. If you take too much testosterone, few things gonna kick in. You will have a hormone that will produce more estrogen in order to counterbalance it.
Oh, your body naturally does that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Everything has to be in homeostasis,
Yes.
right? So you produce too much of testosterone or inject too much of testosterone, your
Your
body will
body
start.
kicks in and then starts
produce
injecting-
estrogen.
it produces this. Wow.
Now, if you, let's say, have too much testosterone, there is also enzyme that is produced
Yes.
that will convert your testosterone into estrogen.
Oh shit! No way.
But if you're taking it, if you do not take estrogen blockers or estrogen, the medication that kills that enzyme,
Yes.
you will start develop gynecomastia. So that the
Which
people
is moves, is the
boobs growing the tissue, breast tissue on a guy, right? So it is not knowing what you're doing, just to take just testosterone. It's a big danger.
It's big, so you have to do
You
it
need
under
to-
supervision.
You need to know what you're doing. You need to talk to somebody who knows what they're doing.
I have a quick question. I've always heard that they consume too much soy can actually,
If you're consuming too much estrogenic substances, like
Yes.
and soy kind of known to have it,
yes.
then you're most likely going to be increased amount of estrogen in your body.
So
If
for
you
men,
don't work out, then definitely. If your body fat is over 15%, you're definitely producing a lot of estrogen. Adding all of the vegan food on top of that, that is very estrogenic, then it's going to be. That's another thing with veganism, right? B12, vitamin B12, that helps you to break down your protein,
yes.
comes from animal sources. Okay.
Are there any
Only-
other sources for that?
Just animal. There is they're trying to extract it from plankton, from like God knows what, right? But it's animal sources.
Yes.
Deficiency in B12 result in deterioration of the spinal cord,
Bad. All that.
right? So it's like we need to have protein, we need to have our essential amino acids put in to produce muscle cells. If not, then you slowly start to decompose.
Wow. So Yelena, you're writing a book. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So yes, it's actually an exciting project. I started writing my big book. So there's 2 books in progress.
Yes.
Start writing my big book is everything technical. That's my meal plan, that's my program that I have developed, case studies, some people that I worked with, my stuff, my own experience, the supplements I've been taking, when I started to take certain things, and then when I was prepping for my show in 2000 and when I got my Pro Card 21, I stopped because I didn't have mental capacity to do 2 things at once,
Yes.
right? And then I did my show when I got my Pro Card in Miami. I didn't get back to the first book. Then I was prepping for my first pro show that I did in Australia just last year. And after that book, all of a sudden, like I'm picking up the notebook and I start writing by hand. And I completed the whole book probably within a couple of months, I would think. And that is the book about my own personal experience as just a person changing career, getting into fitness, trainers that I used to use, and my own personal experience as a competitor. That goes into that book, and I call it From Beginning to Pro, Behind the Glamour.
Yes.
Right, so that's the book, and it's in the process of getting edited right now, and then after that I'll be publishing it. It's exciting. And then I will finish my second.
Well, today I do feel, Yelena, that we just only scratched the surface here, and I definitely want to have you back in Real Talk. And I think for any of you guys out there who want to get in touch with her, in the comments section at the bottom, her bio will be there, all her contact information. You can contact her via that area, and we will have her back again. And if you have any personal questions, anything that you want to know, anything that you've been curious about, put it in the comment section, and Yelena, when she comes back, will hopefully address all of those and more, because I feel there's so much more. And this is Real Talk. I want to say thanks to everyone, and thanks to Yelena for coming through. And you have to come. You will come back with me.
100%.
Okay, good. So signing
We'll
off.
talk more about your
Yeah,
things.
stuff I wanted to talk about. We couldn't touch it today, but I was
Every
being
time
selfish. I was being selfish.
Yes.
I just wanted to go for me. I didn't care about. No, I do care. I was just curious and a little bit selfish. So thank you. Real Talk. Peace.
Thank you.